good evening, good night, wherever you are in podcast land. Brendan Cunningham, the real estate doctor here at EXP. We have lots of beards here today. This is a BYOB section. Bring your own beard. So if you're out there, you don't have a beard, come with us. We have our friend Matt Paul. He's going to talk about all the things that make Buffalo a wonderful place to live. And with us today is Erik Eustice, who is one of the ambassadors of making Buffalo a better place to live. Stay tuned. We're going to see lots of things that he's going to talk about. But first, State of the Union, what's going on in the real estate market?
Yep, same. Still experiencing a lot of multiple offers, lack of inventory. So we're still looking for homes to sell.
I saw one of our colleagues yesterday. She was rejoicing because she had one of the first-time buyers get a house, and she was competing against 18 other offers, and she got it.
Yep.
And it was our first one out. So that's kind of amazing.
No, it's really good.
Yep. Very good.
And there's another one, 25 offers down in East Aurora that I saw online. So yeah, we're still experiencing it.
Yeah. So supply and demand, the ratio is still pretty broken. There's not such a great supply, and it's spring, the salmon run is on, and everyone's looking to buy houses. And they're all kind of chasing the same thing. But why is that? Why are they chasing the same thing? And why is Buffalo one of the great places to buy a house or invest in real estate? Not necessarily our opinion, although that is our opinion. Zillow, for the last 2 years in a row, we were the hottest market in America. Now we're number two.
Yep.
Because we were replaced by Hartford. I don't know what the hell's going on in Hartford. I don't want to go to Hartford. Last time I was in Hartford, I thought it was a one-horse town, but whatever. I think one of the reasons why people want to be here is because once they come here, they don't want to leave because they say, this is a really cool place to live. Sometimes it's not an easy place to live. I mean, you have to deal with the weather and things like that. But, and the business climate, which we've talked about, is sometimes not as user-friendly as it used to be. But we have a guy here, and we like to sort of bring people on or talk about things that make Buffalo a better place. We've had Jay Desidero, because he's got the only dinner theater in town, and it's a wonderful place, and everybody loves it. He's man of the year and all that stuff. We've had several different vendors that do a wonderful job and make their businesses thrive. We had Steve Rott, wonderful, one of the best roofers in town, if not the best. It's got a family-owned business. I was going to say it's 4 generations, but technically I think it might be 4, but it's 120 years.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and the kids are still there. It's a wonderful business, and he's a good guy. And this fellow here, I don't want to say he put him on the map, but he helped his footprint grow on the map, because if you ever listen to the radio and you hear that tune, shield your home. Steve Rott, not roofing. That's it. This is the guy that wrote that jingle. All right. So
you have a card?
I have a card. I'm going to give you a card. Yes. Boom. That's it. So, and I voice over. Sure. But yeah, so Erik Eustice, you're a business coach. And what's interesting is you're also a character. We like characters, and I think lots of people are attracted to people that are cool. He's a cool guy. He just doesn't have a marketing firm. He is the captain of, what is it?
The sea.
The sea. Captain of the sea. Of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
He's a marketing captain. All right. So tell us your story. How'd you get started?
How far back? Started actually in advertising, working for a media company, locally, but a national media company. Cut my teeth as a marketing consultant, which is just a salesperson. That's fine.
Sales is good.
That's cool, right? We're all doing it.
Yep.
So it was through that adventure, realized, you know what, creativity, problem solving through creative expression, storytelling, that sort of stuff is something that I kind of was decent at.
How do you do that?
You know, I realized, you know, I'm probably not going to grow much more here. So I decided to do what a lot of us highly skilled technicians do. You go out and you do your own thing. And I figured, you know, I might be able to do it my way. I didn't know what my way was, but I figured I could probably figure that out. So I started on the sea. It was just me. And in about 10 months, I realized I don't really like doing this by myself. I need to be around people. So I started hiring people. And, you know, we've grown into a small team. There's about 5 of us right now. We're 15 years old. And a lot's happened in those 15 years.
Well, you've had, awesome. I knew Steve before you wrote the jingle, and he was a great guy, he had a great company. But you know what? the commercials that you've done with him are just wonderful, and
Yeah.
it makes you say, "Yeah, I would do business with these people."
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and that's the whole idea is, one thing that every business or brand has that no other business and brand has in their category
Mhm.
is that you are you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You probably do something that someone else does. You may have some proprietary approaches to how you do that, but for the most part,
Mhm.
most people are doing their version of a thing that other people are doing their version of,
You can get
right?
a hamburger anywhere you want.
Exactly. So,
Yep.
like, what
Yep.
differentiates? It's always the story, and for us, it's the story of the people behind the brand, almost always. So our approach is one of observation, not necessarily invention. Do we apply a creativity and creative expression? Of course, we do, but we try to apply it to a strategy that is going to be really honoring to who they are, who usually the founder of the organization, or because really a lot of the companies we work with are really owner operated
Yep.
Right.
brands.
Mhm.
That's who we are. That's who we connect well with.
Are
So
they mostly local as well?
yeah, I'd say for the most part. Yeah,
Okay.
for the most part. Yeah, right here in Western New York.
There's enough business to go around.
Yeah,
I've
for
always,
sure.
I always felt that.
Yeah.
Again, not that we don't have ambitions to perhaps work with others elsewhere that are a fit, but there's so much opportunity right here in Western New York to stay very busy.
That's awesome. It's great.
And these days, traveling around the country is not as much fun as it used to be. I've done that before. I used to
Yeah.
hop on a plane on Monday, come back on a Thursday, maybe. A lot of times I have to stay over. But you didn't have the long lines,
Yeah.
and you didn't need TSA back then.
Yeah.
Now, even with TSA, you get down a long line.
Yep.
So it does make it tougher. So yeah, lots of business. But you're also doing business coaching now too. Yes.
Yeah. So our model has evolved over the years. Like I said, we're 15. At about the 8 or 9 year mark, my journey of being an owner operator started to get a little funky and crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
I also was in my late 30s, early 40s, getting to that midlife kind of stage where you're figuring things out. And
Yep.
you kind of checked a lot of the boxes, like success. Like more external things, the first half of life things.
Yep.
But yet you sit there and you're like, I can't figure out what's wrong in my life, but I'm really not that happy. I'm not feeling really fulfilled.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Fulfilled. Yep.
it's funny that you say love. We have a few core values. The first and primary of our core values is love. And we say love who you are, what you do, and who you do it with for as long as you possibly can. And that was not the experience that I was having at that point. So you start doing that soul searching and digging to figure out, well, what is it that's off here?
Mhm.
And for me, I realized that I had achieved the vision that I'd set out for early on with Of the Sea. I checked all those external success boxes and I realized, okay, this was a small vision that wasn't going to require much transformation for me
Yep.
as an owner, as a leader. And this is the hero's journey. You're probably familiar with this concept. It's kind of a popular concept, the hero's journey. And I think why the hero's journey is so popular in storytelling is because it mimics the lived experience that we are having right here. The person who is thrust out into the unknown, is trying to make their way through, trying to kind of achieve some noble object of desire, but has no idea how they're going to get there. And along the way, guides come in to kind of connect with them, empathize, put their arm around them, help them build some skills, and then encourage them to go out and do the thing that they're meant to do. And you get all the ups and downs, and the stakes get higher and higher and higher until you're at the point of no return, and everything you feel like is lost.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, in a last ditch desperation,
Hail Mary, here it comes.
and boom, right? And it works.
It comes
all
together.
resolves, and that's how it works in the movies. It's not exactly how it works in the movie.
No.
But you can see, yeah, this is like the owner operator. They are the hero in their own story, and they're struggling mightily, and they're failing, and they're trying to do a good thing. And that's not just them as the leader of an organization, because you are you everywhere you go.
Yep.
You might be married,
Yeah.
you might have kids,
Yep.
right? So this is this really is an all or nothing, totally inclusive proposition for your life. The owner operator chooses, this is how we're going to make our way through the world. And I think that there's a choice that we can either see it as a life sentence to be served, or we would see it as an adventure that is going to challenge us, but is going to create transformation that is going to lead to greater meaning and purpose in our lives and through our work. And we can cascade that down through our teams and into our clients. And then, yes, out into the communities, because how wouldn't that make everything better?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this is kind of like the mission that we're on. We say that we exist to help owner operators expand their brand and their leadership to their full potential. So what I realized I needed to come to terms with and then work through, I said, you know what, we're storytellers and we have this owner operator lived experience. We could expand what we're offering our clients. We're already doing this outer storytelling work.
Mhm.
We could pair that with core story and inner story work. So things like core story would be purpose and
Yeah.
unique ability and core values and worldview and belief system and what do we call storified visions. Not just like a vision phrase, but like an actual story of what the future could look like, as if you're like living and breathing it right now. And your brain, without getting too nerdy, loves that sort of thinking, and it helps engage
does.
action and positive, like success orientation.
Mhm.
Then you can take that core story and you can drive it into your outer story so that your storytelling, your advertising, your messaging is really authentic and engaging. But if you do not deliver on it through a consistently remarkable customer experience, then the whole thing falls apart. That's where inner story comes in. We take that core story and we help that leader and their leadership team embrace that core story, create and drive a more purpose driven culture,
Mhm.
and identify operational gaps. We're not like necessarily operational consultants that come in and gonna like help you correct your finance
Yeah,
function, let's
yeah.
say. But we
Help
are
the bottom
generalists
line.
enough to know,
Yep.
yeah, you're not paying close enough attention there.
Yeah.
The ball's getting dropped from here to here because you can see it in customer feedback. How do you take your values, your purpose, your vision, and use that to inspire changes inside how you lead your team and how you basically provide your service?
So it's really like
That's
all around culture, really, like the business culture. So then you can serve your customers or your clients with that same culture.
exactly. So
Yep.
you're right. It's integrated, it's consistent. And so this is the model that emerged about 5 or 6 years ago. And we've just been tinkering with it and refining it. And we now call it the full story. So that's our approach to helping owner operators take the dream they have for their business and make it the reality that
Yeah.
they're experiencing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
and if you look at all the most successful people, either in business or even in politics, they were always good storytellers.
Yes.
Lincoln,
Yep.
major,
And they all have coaches.
well, they all have
Right.
coaches. I can remember talking to one business person years ago, and I said, "This is like Richard III, who said, uneasy is the head that wears the crown,' and it's uneasy more times than not because the person is trying to do all things
Things at
and
once.
be all things to all people, and you can't
Yep.
do that.
No.
So one of the things you need to do is you need to so who can I get to get into my head and get what's out?
Yep.
And that's where a good business
Sometimes
coach
it's just
comes in.
someone that can like
A catalyst, something.
understand where you're at
Right.
and
Yep.
say, hey, you know what? Like, you're not insane.
Hmm.
What your experience is what we are all experiencing.
It's
Right,
a common
right?
thing at this stage or whatever, right? Yep.
So take the emotion out of it a little bit.
Right.
Now, what can you do to advance action so that you actually get where you're trying to go?
And I'm sure you probably run into scenarios where you'll ask a question, which will be the dumbest question in the room. So why do you do it that way? And they'll say, well, we've always done it that way. And you say, yeah, how's that working for you? Well, it's not working. So maybe you might want to do something.
keep doing it.
Tell me about
Keep
something.
doing it again and again.
Keep doing it. Yeah. And yeah, these days especially, you got to be a little innovative. You got to be doing a little
lot.
something different to stay ahead of the curve because business is tough. Period.
Yep.
Every business is tough.
Yep.
I've always said the restaurant business has got to be the toughest business in the world. Toughest.
One of
I
them.
don't know. When you see someone doing it well and
Mhm.
that restaurant's successful, it
Yeah.
was like,
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd have the heart, honestly, to try to run a restaurant.
So
you have to have a servant's heart to do it, for sure.
that too.
Yeah.
But the margins are tough and people complain. The only kind of restaurant I would ever have would be like hot dogs.
Yeah.
It's an hot dog back. It's another
Street
hot
vendor.
dog. It's another hot dog. It's about
No.
and they're all the same. This one swims this way, that one. But so we had Jay here, Jay Desidero,
Yep.
and his brother Bobby, Bobby Jay's Italian Grill.
Yep.
Great guy, one of the great chefs in
Great
town.
restaurateur. Yeah.
Great restaurateur. They've had their family business forever. Bobby's kids just opened the restaurant in Hamburg.
Okay.
I was so delighted because I tracked down the restaurant. It used to be the old Carte Blanche.
Okay.
And then before that was the Buffalo brew pub or something like that. It's right down by the movie house in Hamburg.
Okay.
And I went in there Friday night, and I couldn't get a seat. I said, "Yes, I'm so happy. I'm
Yeah.
so freaking delighted for these guys."
Yeah.
I mean, and packed to the rafters, just terrific. So,
Yep.
and that's hard to do.
Yeah, I mean the ones like Dave Schutte, who has Oliver's and Brightsmith and Creekview. I mean he's just a flawless operator.
Yeah.
The
But
Salvatore's.
yeah, so
Yep.
brand new business. And then I subsequently I had to go to another restaurant, and I was talking to the owner there, and he says, "Oh yeah, the brothers and the kid, they're great. They're gonna crush them." And why? Because they have a great name starting out. Because everyone knows that name.
Mhm.
I said, and they got the name right on the marquee. They're just
Yep.
yeah. And as it turns out, I didn't think about it. He says, there's not a lot of Italian restaurants in Hamburg.
No.
Christina's is gone.
Yep.
If you want good Italian food, I would probably go to Ilio's, but that's
Lucia's. That's
well,
kinda,
that's not you're on
right
the
on the
way.
border.
You're
Yeah.
starting to drift off, but you're
It's
not
close.
you're not in the
Yep.
village.
Yeah, but it's really good
And,
Italian.
but
Sure.
anyway, it's tough business.
Yep.
So
But you got to keep evolving, right? You got to keep
And you gotta
changing, and
keep
they
evolving.
haven't been in business that long if they still kept doing the same thing, right?
And being busy is certainly good, right? But busy does not necessarily equal success.
No,
right?
absolutely
It
not.
doesn't equal profitability all the
No.
time.
Nope.
And it doesn't equal fulfillment. Because
Nope.
there are some people that are the busiest people you've ever met, and what it requires them personally to sacrifice
Yeah.
for that, to them, does not necessarily feel like success.
Mhm.
do you have anything that's coming up that we need to know about, or our listeners need to know about?
Yeah. So that model I mentioned, that
Yep.
full story model,
Mhm.
we want to help more people with it.
Mhm.
So we're creating a series of workshops.
Okay.
We've launched back in November our core story workshop. We've hosted it 2 times. We have a third installment coming up in June on the 12th at the historic Redcroft campus in Louis.
I got married there once.
East Aurora.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Friday, June 12th, the core story workshop for people that are kind of like maybe in that messy middle. They're doing their thing. They're looking for more clarity though around why they do what they do, what makes their thing different than their competition, helping to understand what their values are and drafting a vivid sense of vision for their future. We do all of that in one day.
Okay, so
Wow.
somebody who's just starting a business, would this be for them?
It could be, yeah.
Could
This
be,
is the idea.
Okay.
Someone who's just starting a business may not always be in a position to bring us in
Yeah.
full bore, but this
Mhm.
workshop is a perfect opportunity for them to do so. Starting a business, in the middle on it, maybe it could be someone in an organization, a corporation that's trying to figure out where they're going there and what their next stage.
Do I want to sell it to my kids or just put the lock on the door, that kind of a thing? Yeah.
Any of that would,
Yeah.
would qualify.
All right.
yeah.
Wow.
So the 12th
Of
June.
of June, what time?
Starts at 9 in the morning, goes till 3:30. So
Okay.
it's a pretty full day.
How would you
Really
register
good
for that?
Yeah, we're in the out for adding one.
Wow.
Very
We
good.
can't have people for the full day.
Yeah.
And there's no bathroom, right?
Yeah,
Then
oh,
lock
boy.
those- we want you
And a
agitated.
couple of surprises that could only happen at the Roycroft campus, but that's all. So,
All right.
How do you register for that on your website?
yeah, you can go to our website of thec.com
Okay.
and find the core story
Of
workshop.
the SEA.com.
Yeah.
And phone numbers? Any of do you do phone numbers or just email or just
Oh, yeah,
website?
yeah. We do phone numbers. We do 716-563-0006. That's a direct line to me. If you ever want to talk. Captain at ofthec.com.
Erik Eustice. He's the man that makes Buffalo an even better place to live. I'm Brendan Cunningham, the real estate doctor here at EXP. Hey, you want to buy a house? You need to talk to us about selling a house? Talk to Matt. Talk to me. We can make it happen, and we'll tell you the true story.
Every time. Yep.
And together,
Yeah, please subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know if there's any questions you want us to address on the show. And
together,
we are those real estate guys.